Okay, so the party of slightly wounded people continues. Let's go talk to the Archons. Let's
You
get
only
the
have
mic
6 days.
closer. Yeah, this is why I'm not camping, because I want to maximize. We still need to go to the
I wonder if it's
other
possible
camp.
to just lose the game. You don't give the Oathbreakers what?
Enough
How
credit.
can we trust your rabble not to turn at this last moment? How many of your conscripts have family bonds to the Vendrian Guard? It is decided. The disfavored will take the vanguard of the assault. It is the only way to assure success before the edict comes to pass.
Graven Ash's roar pulses your eardrums, his face reddening as he yells.
Oh, you're so young. We can forgive you for being stupid. Without your Archon of Stone to bring down those walls, you're out of your element. Only the chorus has the numbers required to swarm the walls from all sides. We will lead the vanguard of this battle.
The best
Ooh.
the chorus could accomplish would be leaving a ramp-shaped pile of corpses propped up against the walls for my warriors to use. Their fortifications are not a concern. Even understaffed, my Earthshakers could breach the masonry in short order.
Another brilliant idea. Cairn's cult is, we're sure, every bit as trustworthy and sane as the late Archon of Stone himself. You did notice the spire at the center of the citadel? Hard to miss it, being only the tallest thing on the horizon and such. Certainly your Earth mages won't do anything stupid like, say, breaking the spire's foundation? What could possibly go wrong?
The voices of Nerat lazily twirls his scepter.
Oh, you hear the voices in your head. We love saying that name, Cairn. Just you watch him squirm. Graven Ash had so much hair back before he met us. Wait, so...
So Cairn was the Archon of Stone.
Right, but he was killed, or at least...
Yeah, it doesn't say how he
Disposed
died
of.
yet. But he was one of Graven Ash's subordinates.
One of the earth benders or
Yeah.
shakers.
Yeah, well, the Archon of Stone was like a super empowered version of. But also he's saying that
He had hair.
he single-handedly has driven Graven Ash bald. Anyway.
I trust them more than I trust your circus of rapists, sell swords, and turncoat tearsmen.
Archon Ash turns his head and, upon seeing you in the tent, relaxes his posture.
Tunon's Fatebinder has arrived.
The war tent falls silent, and all eyes turn to you, expectantly.
So now you're going to have to decide which one will go to the front? Is that what
To
this
some degree,
is?
yeah. One thing I also I didn't reference this earlier, but people are asking why we turned off reputations. A lot of people were complaining about the fact that it made the game too binary, that we were just min-maxing.
Well, it was like Knights of the Old Republic or Mass Effect, where you knew what the quote-unquote good or bad answers were.
Yeah. And
Light
from
or
my,
dark
From my
side.
perspective, I prefer playing that way just because it simplifies things, so I can just sit back and enjoy the story without thinking about things too hard.
But at the same time, I always thought back when I was playing Knights of the Old Republic that there were answers that I was really tempted to choose because it's probably how I would react, but it would either get a neutral or like dark side response. So I'm like, oh, well, I can't choose that. You know what I mean? So I would think that by turning it off, you play more truthfully. Would you not?
Yeah. So we have a couple of options here.
So our operations at Echo Call Crossing were a success. Why aren't you two marching towards the hall? That's just essentially being like, I did my end. Why are you still here arguing? My missions, wilderness were successful with little help. So that's a jab at the disfavored.
Yeah, jab at the disfavored and then jab at the chorus. Or done bickering. Honestly, I'm leaning towards one. I'm still pretty neutral here. Mm-hmm. Even though I favor Graven Ash, because we've already seen that the chorus is kind of like a motley crew of murderers and rapists. Exactly what Graven Ash
they
is
are.
like. I will admit, if I were to be part of like the evil empire in any way, shape, or form,
You'd rather be part of the sort of knights of whatever, rather
the
than
rigid moral order sort of than the
Berserker.
yeah, with the Berserker group. Not to mention the fact that, Graven Ash just seems a little bit more reasonable-ish.
At the same time, like, the thing is, we haven't, for the Voices in Nerat's supposed to be, the keeper of secrets and stuff, but what secrets have they really gotten a hold of?
Yeah, not much.
Their people don't really seem to be that.
They don't seem like spies. They're just people.
Well, when I think of a secretive intellectual order of, I think of like elite assassins and...
Yeah. Like, I actually wish there were 3 leaders here. The, like, sneaky assassin guy with his, like, group of ninjas, the knights, and then the berserker leader. Because I think that would make more sense. But unfortunately, we've only got 2, and 2 of those roles are kind of wrapped up into 1, but only awkwardly. Anyway, I think I'm going to go with number 1.
Yeah, just
Okay.
point out that they're bickering.
Our operations in Echo Call Crossing and Tripnettle Wilderness were successful. Why aren't you 2 marching towards Ascension Hall?
Nothing would please us more than to be done with this wretched valley. Perhaps if we had more support from the disfavored and from the court.
Now that we are all assembled, I want reports. The Scarlet Chorus was going to resolve the Oathbreaker presence in the Outer Valley. What became of that?
Yes, what did become of that? We should know already, yet we do not. If we are not mistaken, the Fatebinder played a pivotal role in this operation. Fifth Eye, shed light on this baffling question.
Did you not complete enough?
No.
The Oathbreaker Raiders are broken. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, you're Fifth Eye, though.
Yeah.
You squeaky face.
Yeah.
The Oathbreaker Raiders were broken, and most importantly, the captain was taken, and he has told us.
The Archon of Secrets grips his helmet as a chittering percussion of whispers pour forth.
Oh, so he's just upset.
Curse you motherless fucks! What have you brought but fire and suffering?
Oh, wait. So the Fifth Eye was... He was just saying, well, yeah, we got that captain, and he told us, but what? Was he just going to cut him off because he was going to reveal too much?
What happened was the Voices of Nerat has taken the captain's soul. Remember? There was lore a while back about the Voices of Nerat being able to, steal the minds of others.
So what, was
He
that
literally
the captain?
stole the captain's mind, yeah. So the Voices of Nerat slaps the forehead portion of his mask, and for a moment the emerald flames within his robes dim.
Oh, suffering doesn't really capture the nuance of what we've done. Apologies. We've been savoring this one's defiance. We know much of their inner workings, their desperate allies, their foolish hopes. This is our battle to lose.
Why I am on equal footing with Kairos' clown, I will never understand. So, Fatebinder, you would deem this mission successful?
Let's see. The Oathbreakers were scattered, and I took the captain alive as requested. There's not much else to add, or Pelax Florian was a boastful leader from an influential family. His recruitment will demoralize the enemy, or Pelax Florian was renowned for skill at arms. It would have been better to have him in battle.
I'm leaning for number 2.
I mean, will it demoralize the enemy? Because
Yeah.
I thought that his brother was like, your sacrifice won't be in vain and blah, blah, blah.
But we recruited him. Literally, the Voices of Nerat has, corrupted the guy's mind.
But do they know that?
They will when he shows up in battle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Pelax Florian was a boastful leader from an influential family. His recruitment will demoralize the enemy.
Iron Marshal, I understand we've established a foothold across the Matani. Report.
So Iron Marshal Arenos. Securing the Matani was a gruesome affair. An agent of the School of Tides still lives, and the river was turned against us. Despite our losses, the day ended in success at Echo Call Crossing, though victory came at great cost. When it came time to secure the nearby Echo Call village, there was a distressing discovery. The villagers had been stashing iron weaponry, no doubt stolen from our supply lines. Commander Antio wished to burn the village, but the chorus disagreed, and the Fatebinder backed their claim. Their leader, Captain Matani Sybil, was bested in combat and taken captive by the Scarlet Chorus. Despite the disfavored taking the lead on this operation, the Fatebinder felt it necessary to apply Chorus doctrine to the captives. Oh, so he's not gonna like it.
Yeah, happens. Oh well.
A most wise judgment, good Fatebinder. The Oathbreaker captain will no doubt provide hours of entertainment, and perhaps even some useful information.
The voices in Herat hurls his scepter into the air with a loud chuckle, gingerly snatching the scepter out of the air as it falls.
You hear the voices in your head. She has been a most delectable treat, that one. So obstinate, so inarticulate in her flailing defiance. Some things are best savored in slow, tantalizing doses. We must thank you once again for delivering her onto us.
So I'm actually noticing we're getting a little bit of extra favor up and down here that it's not being reported, I think. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Well, I don't think it's reporting it to you anymore.
No, it definitely is. It said we gained wrath
Uh-oh.
with these guys.
How much
doesn't
wrath?
matter.
So we're sort of 50% good with them.
We're way, way closer to Graven Ash than we are with the voices in Herat, which makes sense. But I'm kind of...
You seem to be pleasing the voices in this
I'm pleasing the voices in Herat specifically, but I'm worse with the Scarlet Chorus. I think. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, you got 75%?
Yeah.
With the chorus?
Well, whatever.
Okay.
This will be just like Stalwart, when your own conscripts chose suicide over service to the chorus. She'll be no different than the others. Petulant, uncooperative, and motivated to feed you false information.
Okay, so resolving the edict matters most of all.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with that one.
Perhaps some tiersmen are smart enough to choose death over being with the chorus, which would probably be a jab at the chorus, or do you think the tiersmen sympathetic and harmless that you seem afraid that they might teach the chorus? Yeah, I suppose.
I think I'm just going to go with one. Arguing over this is meaningless. Resolving the edict matters most of all.
The Fatebinder is right. We argue over trivialities when we should be closing the vice on the Oathbreakers. Let us march on the double. The disfavored will lead the charge.
You mean the Scarlet Chorus should lead the charge? Over 2/3 of your legion remains trapped outside the valley. Only the Chorus can bring to bear the strength and numbers this assault requires. Kairos' Day of Swords approaches, and our allies in the disfavored in the court refuse to work with us. There is clearly only one reason for this. Graven Ash and Tunon have allied against us. You conspire to rob us of our deserved glory.
Emerald-colored trails appear in the air as the Archon madly swings the scepter. Gesticulating with growing rage, you hear the voices in your head. We see how it really is. You're all against us. Wait, so we were helping him, and then he's like...
this is part of the reason why I don't favor the guy, because he's really petty. Graven Ash at least seems to respect, like, what I do for him. The voices in Herat's just like... You did great things for me. Fuck you. And it's just like,
If you two are unwilling to work together as Fatebinder Tunon, I will order you to do so. You remain silent. Or conspiracy. You're the one that has acted the fool the whole time. Or enough bickering. We are running out of time. Do you want to do the you've been acting the fool
I
the whole time?
I mean, here's the thing. We could actually sit down and just start, like, shaming the voices in Herat and the chorus pretty hard. Because we can... Okay, so I know vaguely from the reviews, we get 4 choices, I think, later of, like, what faction to back. Presumably, one is the Fatebinders, Tunon's faction, which we haven't really seen that much, but that's kind of the neutral path.
But we're already a part of them.
Yes. And then we've got 2 evil paths, the Disfavored or the Chorus, and then one
Wait, why are they
good path.
evil?
Well, evil. We are playing the villains in this story.
Uh-huh.
And then the last one, the good path, is to go with the Oathbreakers. Somehow. You know, the Tide Caller?
Why are you telling this to me? Why did you spoil yourself?
I mean, didn't mean to.
We've known all along that, probably we're doing the wrong thing by leading all this.
Even if, like, I knew this, my goal here is kind of set. I really am leaning for Graven Ash and Tunon. And I'm not sure which one I'd pick from, but right now I care very little for the Scarlet Chorus and the voices in Herat. And I care very little for the good side either. Like, even if I hadn't spoiled this for myself, and I could be wrong, these are the options that would be very obviously available anyway.
So
I
you
guess
can
maybe
say
there's a
work
fifth
together,
path
you
where
can say stop bickering, you can remain silent, or you can flat out call out the voices for even bringing up the notion of a conspiracy.
I don't know. What do you want to do? You're kind of leaning for the conspiracy one.
I mean, I don't want to get on his bad side. At the same time, the fact that we helped him, we gave 2 captains to him to interrogate, even though the disfavored wanted to off them. We gave them a town when the disfavored wanted to burn them.
All right, now I'm down with it.
Like,
Fuck the voices. Conspiracy, you're the one that's acted the fool this whole time.
Acted the fool? We've assembled tens of thousands of new disciples to our Overlord. We may not act as severe and imperious as Graven Ash, but his job is merely to break things. The Scarlet Chorus has the much more difficult task of uniting these tearsmen to Kairos. How dare you belittle our work?
Then the impasse is clear. We both wish for the honor of leading this final assault on the Vendrian Guard. Since Tunon is not here to select the rightful bearer of this honor, we must turn to the Archon's proxy.
With whom do you stand?
wagging his scepter. Okay.
Okay, so the voice of Nerat's mask tilts sideways as he lurches forward, wagging his scepter at you. The tent grows quiet as the gathering looks at you in anticipation.
You hear the voices in your head. Now is not the time for compromise. One of us will have the honor of completing this glorious conquest. We know you will choose wisely.
I think number
Together
one.
or not at all.
Yeah, I mean, I have been aiming for the neutral path this entire time. Interesting, insulting the voices of Nerat did not gain us wrath. I think number one is the way I'm leaning here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you'll march on Vendrian Well Citadel together, or not at all.
You test my patience, Fatebinder.
You've lost
We
favor,
do not
lost
ask for a
favor.
weak compromise that leaves all parties unsatisfied. Whom do you support? Are you going to let the Scarlet Chorus traitors have their way? Or will you stand by Kairos' true disciples, the disfavored?
Well, that was the bad choice.
Yeah, that
I
was
guess
a bad choice.
The disfavored will lead.
You honor us, as I knew you would. You have made the right choice. The disfavored have stood at the forefront of battle since the first days of the war. And now, we have the honor of winning this final battle.
Graven Ash salutes you, his fist striking his breastplate with a thunderous clatter. So yeah, that puts us well into favor 3 with him. However, I bet the voices are
gonna
pissed.
be pissed. Yeah.
Beloved chorus. We have too many lives to protect. We can't allow your foolish decision to destroy us all.
A brilliant emerald green radiates from the Archon, and the chatter of a busy marketplace seems to fill the tent.
Now the thing is, I would believe the voices of Nerat and the Scarlet Chorus to be unstable and backstab the disfavored, whereas the disfavored wouldn't backstab the chorus.
Oh well.
It may have been the wrong choice.
Okay.
No, we did not work so hard.
I didn't finish narrating. You have this bad tendency of interrupting me.
Sorry.
So, the scepter he normally holds as a playful prop is now clutched as a bludgeon ready to strike. Okay, now you can read.
Okay, you hear the voices in your head. No, we did not work so hard only to be denied our rightful glory in the end. You will die with the disfavored.
Yeah, so I think they're going to betray us immediately.
You would dare harm me and our guest from the court?
Oh, so he heard that?
The air crackles with electricity as Graven Ash lifts his maul to strike. No, it's pretty obvious he's going to attack us.
Whoa, do they kill him right then and there?
I don't know.
By Kairos' word, this means war! How did it come to this?
You roused to consciousness at the sight of Graven Ash swatting his hand towards the thinning green mist where the voices of Nerat once stood moments ago.
Let's see.
So did the dude teleport out?
I think he's dead.
Or did he just die and disperse into the ether?
I'm not sure. I saw you step in front of me. Thank you.
Just old soldier reflexes. Couldn't be sure if it was trying a simple illusion or a bolt of fire. Either way, needed to be sure my guests didn't perish in my war tent. Wouldn't be able to live that one down.
We'll have to take Ascension Hall without the chorus's help.
Yes, and instead of having false allies on our side, at least we can march on the Citadel knowing full well who is friend and foe. And it goes without saying, the disfavored need you now for this glorious battle. Please speak with the Iron Marshal. She will give you the specifics of our plan.
Are you sure you wish to go to war against the chorus?
What other choice am I given? It is clear the voices of Nerat would endanger all of us out of vanity. Besides, we all know when this war is over, someone must rule and protect the Tears. So I will start protecting the Tears from the depravity of the Scarlet Chorus.
Farewell.
The Archon of Secrets left behind one of his spies. Perhaps we should send her back to her master in pieces.
Verse.
Okay, Graven Ash narrows his eyes and points a finger at Verse. Barrick's armor makes a discordant sound of iron bending under pressure. Everyone assembled in the room looks at him.
Something to say, Barrick?
Ash passes his stone shield a confused look.
Nothing at present, Archon. Forgive the interruption.
Barrick looks to you with a vague hope in his otherwise impersonal stare.
Verse is with me.
You would harbor the Archon's henchmen in your company? This is aiding and abetting the voices of Nerat. I cannot stand for it.
Let's look over the decisions. You made that decision without my input.
Oh, sorry. All of the other ones are favor for it.
Okay. I mean...
Well, like, all of the other ones would have gotten her kicked out or killed.
She's necessary to my work. You can say that she can't tell us about the Scarlet Course of the Voices if she's dead, or maybe I want the Voices to think I'm being observed.
Or the other ones are let her go or kill her. I'm leaning for number 4. I'm gonna lie here.
Okay.
So maybe I want the Voices to think I'm being carefully observed.
The voices of Nerat knows better. Of that much I can assure you. Whatever deceitful ploy you have in mind, he can think lifetimes ahead of it.
That didn't impress
You are
him.
playing a dangerous game, Binder. If you wish to hold a venomous serpent so close, I will allow you your own self-destruction. Now leave me. When you are ready to join the assault, speak to the Iron Marshal.
Big Ed mode is goofy.
Iron Marshal just walks out.
Yep. Okay. So the one question is where the Horde failed. Yeah, okay, hold on. So this is going to take a moment. So we forgot to turn in a quest on the way out. I thought we'd be stopping by the Chorus's camp.
But you didn't. I told you to.
Yeah, I'd kind of forgotten in my haste to return. And
I knew you shouldn't have.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a little bit of time magic and fix that.
But what does all this mean then?
I'm just gonna have to skip past it quickly. Don't worry about it.
You mean load game?
Yes, I'm gonna load back, then I'm gonna do all the dialogue off camera, and then we're gonna do it. I mean, we did the quest. The only thing is I did things
wrong. But what
wrong.
if it changes options?
I'm not
in this
I'm not going to change much at all. Like, I'm still gonna follow the exact same protocol. If something does change, I will let everybody know, including you, obviously.
That's just bitter quip.
Yeah, I might actually be able to do this solo, but I figured I'd have you just because. So, where are my manners? I forgot to cast my incantation of crying like a coddled North girl over a few dead soldiers. The blood chanter pounds his staff into the ground, his sunburnt face twisting into a harsh scowl. I will not be lectured for a failure to show widow's weakness. Now, where is that? His vision snaps to you. Fatebinder! Lord Fatebinder, the disfavored soldier waves you closer. We've been waiting for you. One of Nerat's dogs went wild. At least he's done the right thing to present himself here for a proper trial. I'd like to yank his teeth out, and I'd like it to be with your blessing, so that I could sure use your judgment on the so I could sure use your judgment on the matter. We meet again, Binder. Bitterquip bows. The disfavored have accused me of multiple murders. I'm not guilty of these charges, and have nothing to hide. He grins from ear to ear. The truth can only exonerate me, so I will happily submit to your judgment.
Yeah, murder, that's a serious charge.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
And who's the aggrieved party?
Let's start with the number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so murder, that's a serious charge. Tell me everything. 3 weeks ago, we were in the eastern end of the valley. We were on assignment to keep Vendrian guard runners from leaving and reinforcements from coming in. Bitterquip and some Scarlet Furies came with us for, his voice falls flat for an awkward pause, support. Well, our trail puts us between 2 Vendrian guard patrols. Thinking they have us outnumbered, they draw bronze. We draw close and fight together. It's a rather rousing melee, and the Oathbreakers give as good as they get, but among the dead, a dozen conscripts and 2 disfavored. You dance around the important details, Chanter. The soldier jabs a finger at Bitterquip. Right as the enemy spots us, you started working your mystic symbols. I saw panic in their eyes when we first stumbled onto each other in that clearing, but once his magic started flying, the only thing in their eyes was bloodlust.
Oh, so he used the bloodlust frenzy on the enemy, and that resulted in disfavored deaths?
Yeah, pretty much. So he drove the Vendrian guard into a murderous frenzy to make them not think.
Yeah, what sort of magic did you use?
What sort of magic did you use? I don't talk the craft outside of the guild, but I can't defend myself with silence. The blood chanter clears his throat, measuring his words carefully. I invoked a spell of frenzy and directed the chant at the enemy. They could move faster than our party, and letting them escape would undermine the mission, so I fueled them with rage to get them to stand and fight. There! He just came right out and admitted it. The Oathbreakers usually can't fight their way out of a burlap sack, but he grants them a gift of a stink badger's courage. The warrior rests his head on in his hands. Madness, pure and simple. The Furies were dumbfounded and folded. That's when Devona and Seveus, the Swift, drove into the fray. Devona caught a javelin in the eye. Just stupidly bad luck. As for Seveus, after the battle, he had been run through 19 times. Graven Ash couldn't save him. Salvaros has his facts in order. I would concur with his assessment.
About the one guy getting stabbed 19 times and the lady getting a javelin through the eye?
Yeah. So effectively, him luring the enemies in led to a bunch of Scarlet Chorus getting killed and 2 disfavored.
So what about anything to add, Salveros?
Yeah, let's do both. So Blood Chanter, is that all you have to say in your defense? What more need I say, for I've done no wrong? Are you daft, or is your mother too busy mounting the tears to teach you from right from wrong? You are not enlightened, so I can forgive your ignorance. If you were illuminated in the ways of the arcane, you'd know that Kyros's law does not hold the mage culpable for that which cannot be controlled. What sort of chorus delusion is this? Lore 20.
Oh, so let's look at the lore. So he was just saying that Kyros's law holds mages unaccountable for... So let's go say like an ice mage casts some ice on an enemy and one of his allies happened to slip and crack his head open on it. Is that what the law is supposed to say?
I think so. Anyway, Lore 20. Bitterquip is citing Magician's Folly. If in battle for Kyros's glory, a mage inadvertently harms someone protected by Kyros's peace, the mage is not legally at fault. The Fatebinder actually knows his law. As I said, I have no doubts that I'm in the right. You must understand. The chanter grins broadly. In my heart is heavy with regards to this tragedy, but my conscience is clean. That is insane. This wasn't a gout of fire that went awry. He used his magic to enrage the enemy into feats of strength. How can that not be a crime? Spend a decade mastering the craft of a magic, and perhaps you will understand why this law must exist.
Oh, let me look at the other ones. The law is meant to protect against honest mistake. It seems like there was nothing accidental in this process, or... Huh.
I'm leaning for 1 or 2. I'm leaning
But
for...
the problem is, Better Quip is smiling every time he...
Well, I mean, realistically, he thinks he's in the right, and technically, yeah, he is. It makes sense. I mean, say if we're an MMO group and I pull the boss, and 2 party members fall. It's not my fault because I pulled the boss, because we needed to fight them anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what, do you want to use your superior lore?
I'm leaning for lore just because it increases my lore experience. Doing these lore checks. And it, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to do it. So let's do the first one. See, 18 lore experience. I'm trying to pump that up as much as I
But
can.
Salveros isn't like that.
And why is that? So you illuminated folk can lord your knowledge over the rest of us and excuse each other from reckless misuse. The warrior lets out a loud grumble. You're all toying with things only Kairos understands. Nothing good comes from mages. You gripe, but if this law didn't exist, I could argue that Graven Ash hasn't been protecting the Scarlet Chorus from harm, the way he has the disfavored, and I could demand Tunon punish such misuse of magic. But the law does exist, so I do not. Anyway, I am ready to pass judgment. The case is a simple one, is it not? So, do you think he is guilty? Wrong question. It is not what the Fatebinder feels, it's what the law says. He clears his throat with a smug smile. So then, what does the law say?
Oh. So 2 of the answers seem to say that he was doing it out of what? You see, what I'm wondering is if Bitter Quip did this knowing that more disfavored would die.
Well, no. He did this wanting to go into combat. All of the chorus are battle maniacs, more or less.
Yes.
And so, realistically, he did this being like, sweet, a fight. You know, kind of standard battle maniac logic. Where what he does is he goads the enemies into attacking him.
You are innocent of murdering a servant of Kairos, but guilty of giving succor to the enemy.
Yeah. So technically, I'm leaning for number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because we actually know what the law is. I feel like originally, well, I don't know. Because, like, I'm stuck between 1 and 2. Because, yeah, realistically, I'm not entirely sure if it's his fault. Well, it is his fault, but it feels no different from, like, standard...
The thing is, couldn't he have used other magics or anything else?
Yeah. Okay, so you're leaning for number 2?
First off, what is I've heard of succor before.
Okay, let's look up the definition of succor. Yeah, I'm glad I went back. I know.
Does giving succor means like a buff zeal? Like,
yeah, I believe so.
Because you wouldn't want to buff your enemy, right?
Yeah, assistance and support in times of hardship and distress. Yeah, so he helped them, but he didn't really do that either. He just goaded them into a fight.
Yeah, but he also made them fearless. The one guard was saying,
yeah,
you know, these were men that couldn't have cut their way out of a sack, yet because of his magic, they became feral badgers.
Yeah. So what do you want to do?
I mean, so the third one, you're like sentencing him to death immediately. The second one means that... The second one means that you're acting in malice. I just don't like the fact that Bitter Quip has been smiling the whole time about...
so let's go with number 2 then?
The guards being killed.
Okay. It is obvious you acted with malice, knowing the law would shield you. You are innocent of murdering a servant of Kairos, but guilty of giving succor to the enemy. Succor to the enemy. By Tunon's limp gavel, there is no such thing. Kairos be praised, the warrior salutes you with ardor. Permission, good binder, to carry out your execution. Utter crap. The law is on my side. His right hand darts into action, his index finger tracing midair the lines and curves of a spell.
So are you just going to let them duke it out?
Sure. Let's do permission granted.
Wait. Watch the fight without interfering or permission granted?
I don't know.
What are you going to say?
I'm just saying permission granted might draw me into the fight. Which means more combat for me.
You want to fight?
I want to fight everything.
Uh,
Yes. Permission granted. You've gained favor with the disfavored. Allow me to show you a warrior's gratitude, Binder. Selvaris unsheaths his sword with a single swift jerk of his arm and steps forward between you, a ready shield. The Blood Chanter first attempts to frenzy you into fighting at his side.
yep.
But when you resist the pathetic pull of his magic, he, in a panic, turns it mingled in a burst of fire on the disfavored soldier. The soldier utters a guttural cry that could rival a beastman's and cleaves the chanter cleanly in two, with but one heft of his sword. You watch as the halves that were bitter quipped topple to the ground and give the soldier a cautioning nod of approval.
Wait, so he tried putting the same spell on you. It
Yes.
didn't work, but did it get onto the disfavored soldier?
No,
and
so what he did was he tried to cast it on us. Fails and blasts the disfavored soldier with fire. A burst of fire on the disfavored soldier. The wording is weird, but he effectively is like, mind control, shit, firebolt. You know, that's what he tried to do.
Yeah.
Can I? Yes.
You're going to loot him?
Broken staff. Well, it's not great, but whatever. Oh, do I have enough subterfuge? Oh, wait, no. This is camping supplies, which I can't do anyway. Okay. Maybe I can get into... One of these was, like, locked, and I couldn't get into it. I might be able
Well,
to
what
now.
is that done with your favor or not
Okay,
favor?
so we still have to do Wave the Horde, which we have to turn back to, Death Knell.
Return to Death Knell at the Scarlet Chorus. Yeah, I thought you were going to go back to the Scarlet Chorus camp.
Okay, well, this is the Scarlet Chorus
Okay.
camp. I'm just looting stuff for a second. Why did I...
Go into sneak mode?
You know, I might have pressed Alt because we've been playing ESO, and that messed with my head. Hey! I can get into it now. And it had magical gloves. Yeah, so we'll do inventory management, but let's go find Death Knell, who I think was right
She was
over here.
over there. Wasn't she
Yep.
a Fury?
Yes, she's a Fury right there.
Well, yep, there's a bunch of Furies. Fatebinder. Death Knell nods in your direction. Now, what do you need? Oh, yeah, punch her. No, I'm kidding. You've got some explaining to do. Was she the one that swooped in at the last moment?
No,
and made
no,
you
this
fight?
is after we fought the people, and she's like, nice job cleaning up our mess.
Okay. So do you want to punch her, or do you want to say you've got some explaining to do? I don't appreciate being used.
I'm leaning with number one. Punch her.
In one swift stride, you close the distance between the two of you and land a punch squarely in her stomach. The force of it knocks her back a pace, causing her to take a knee. She lets out a few coughs before regaining her composure and standing back up. So you can say, you or any chorus member try anything like that again and I'll put you on a spike myself, or you've got some explaining to do. I don't appreciate being used. So
I'm leaning with number one. It's a unique line in comparison to the other one, and it makes sense. So you or any chorus member try anything like that again, and I'll put you on a spike myself.
The Scarlet Fury nurses her stomach and replies with a strain in her voice. I'll make a note to watch my step around the Fatebinder of Tunin. Just before she walks away, she takes out one of her swords and gives it a once-over before tossing it into your hands. Good punch.
Yep, that was the right option.
Quest completed.
Okay,
The
so we're
Way
done
of the
with.
Horde.
We're pretty much done with this area. The last thing. Oh, this is Siren. Interesting. She looks really weird. Who's the? I guess we can talk to her.
Siren. Oh, that's the singer, right?
Yes.
A young woman stands flanked by a pair of soldiers. The ornate headdress cresting her brow lends to her otherwise small figure an intimidating aspect. From gear to gown, everything about her starkly contrasts with the wretched state of the camp. She looks both at ease and uncomfortable, composed in her element and completely unsure. She turns to you.
Oh, look. Father has returned. Have I gotten out of line? Have you come to punish me? Am I a bad girl? Or do you just want to use my power?
Father?
Her face takes on a mock serious demeanor as she speaks, and with her words you hear the sound of a breeze rustling through the forest. It is at the same time calming and distressing. The girl smiles.
Do you remember me, Fatebinder? Now don't disappoint me. We worked together at the Vellum Citadel. You used my voice to subdue those naughty sages who tried to escape your edict.
Okay, conquest decision. During the Vellum Citadel campaign, Siren used her power to enthrall sages who crept beyond their stronghold. When the mages started to spout off forbidden knowledge to the voices of Kairos, you had them silenced with iron muzzles.
Oh, so you prevented them from telling the chorus their secrets?
I thought I'd let them do whatever, but I guess I forgot.
You had them muzzled.
Well, whatever. The gentle breeze of her words gains force as she speaks. She takes a small step forward, and the soldiers to her side move in, barring passage with their weapons. She looks at them and rolls her eyes. When she does, the sound of the approaching storm fades.
Do I look like I can hurt him? She turns her gaze to you and leans forward as if to share a secret.
These good people aren't for my protection. Apparently, I'm dangerous. But I guess you already knew that.
Wait, so why was that one line not voiced?
Do you think I seem dangerous? What harm can a 15-year-old girl cause? I'm only a child.
The smile falters. She looks down, her hand moving to the headdress, her thumb tracing the edge of it along her jawline. She looks back up, the hard look back in her eyes. She regards you for a moment before continuing.
So, Tunon's Fatebinder in the middle of a battlefield. Kairos must be desperate. You were sent to shame Ash and Nerat into action, weren't you?
Yeah, I don't know why her lines are randomly not being voiced, but whatever.
Ash certainly needs someone to dig a heel into his back, if only to distract him from his problem. She purses her lips in thought.
But Nerat, he's just a cat playing with a realm-sized mouse, isn't he?
And what problem does Ash have? I assume we can go through all of them.
Let's hope so.
You haven't heard? Now I find that fascinating. A representative of Kairos sent to deal with the Archons, and you weren't told the whole story. How scandalous.
Yeah, this is pertinent information we should have had before our decision.
The disfavored are very close with one another. If one is lost, it's practically like losing a family member. Can you imagine how Ash feels after losing a handful of his men?
She trails off and stands in thought for a few moments.
Anyway, we have a more important matter to deal with. There is something you can do to assist me.
Wait, so you weren't able to ask the other questions?
We probably will. Oh well.
Verse. From the corner of your eye, you see Verse cup her hands to her ears, turning her head away from Siren. What, she can hear something that
no, Siren's probably going to try and mind control us or something.
Siren's mouth opens in a perfect O shape. The sound that pours out is captivating, entrancing. It dampens the ambient bustle of the camp until it seems like nothing else exists but her voice.
Remove my helmet.
The ruby headpiece on her brow flashes as if in warning. So does that like keep her in check?
Yeah, probably. Lore 40, what are you trying to do to me?
Really? That's it? How disappointing. It was worth a try, I suppose, though it appears to have been a colossal waste of effort.
She sighs and gives a sheepish smile.
I hoped you would assist me in a delicate matter, but it appears you're more nuisance than help. I have no further use for you. Perhaps later. You're dismissed, Fatebinder.
You'll answer some questions for me first?
We want to do that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said dismissed until I have further need of you. Your presence displeases me.
This time her voice takes on a different quality. It screeches like a piece of flint struck in a grinding wheel. You can feel it down to your toes, and you want nothing more to make a hasty exit before the Archon inflicts more of her terrifying song.
For the love of Kairos! That was the Archon of Song in the flesh!
Huh. Darting his head for a furtive look back at Siren, Lantry sighs in awe.
Keep walking. Best not to offend her.
Don't be so dumbstruck.
Which one do you want to do?
That one. I don't want to give her
Okay.
any more pleasure.
Don't be so dumbstruck.
Dumbstruck. I don't exactly meet Archons on a regular basis. Maybe to you, this is just Judge's Day.
Okay.
She's an petulant little child who thinks that she can get what she wants with her.
Yeah, well, I think
insane
she still
power.
wants her freedom, which I can understand and respect, but still. Okay, so at this point, I think we're done until we get back to dialogue, unless other things happen. I'm gonna quickly go through what I can buy and sell, because if I remember right, reloading, yeah, wipes all of my progress in that regard. So this might take a little while, but that's okay because we'll just keep going with it. We'll get further. Okay, so some of my management seems to have lasted. What do these gloves do? I don't know, but we're putting them on my character.
Wait, how many years ago was this event that you had used her in?
Months prior.
Oh,
maybe
only
the previous
months?
year. Yeah. This guy's inventory is just full of garbage. I don't know why. I guess it's because he's always looting or something. I'm not sure. Oh, either way, I love the fact that we have a party stash. This game does something particularly well that I've always kind of respected, which is specifically, it's very friendly with inventory management. You never really have too much, well, you never really run out of space. Like, we will eventually, but not if not if I just keep doing what I've been doing, pretty much. Purifying. Immunity to poison. Hell yeah. Oh. We want that on our main character. What's this one do again? Haste.
Oddly enough,
Extra
we
quickness.
haven't really had much. We don't know much about our party members. Is that just because
No,
you haven't stood and talked with them?
Yeah, we can specifically talk to them along the way. Which, you know, we can sit down and do.
Because I'd rather do that before we decide on the whole verse thing. Because I want to know
Okay.
if her loyalties really are with us or if she'll double cross us if we let her live.
True. Good point. She's not exactly the best party member anyway. She does kind of die rather fast. Let's see. Well, either way, I might as well cut because I have to go manage inventory, buy stuff, and then we'll travel to the next camp. Then we'll talk to everybody.
Okay.